but this ain't a game to him. You could be a Bradley's baddie too. You could be a Bradley's baddie too. So join Jovan and get your critical cap on. 'Cause there's a Bradley's baddie inside of me and you.
What up, chat? What's going on? Hello. Oh shit, the YouTube is all sorts of fucked up. Howdy. Welcome to stream. We are back again. Chilling. How's everybody doing? Y'all doing good? Y'all doing easy? Y'all doing breezy? Y'all doing cover girl? Fuck ice. Fuck ice. Yo, so true. Goddamn. So true, bestie. So true, bestie. Fuck ice, on God. The gender critical crowd got a hold of one of my last videos and are going nuts in the comments. They're very upset. I think they're stupid. And the way they're commenting is proving that they're stupid. They're going nutty. They're like, how dare you be rude to someone? We're so much better because we're not rude, and that makes you bad because you're rude. I don't give a fuck. How am I? I'm chilling. I'm good. We're here to debate. If you want to chat today, there's a easy way to do that. 219-327-8005. The number again, 219-327-8005. If you want to debate, call in. We have a couple of topics on the board like we always do. Feel free to call in about number 5 and prove my point. They always do. They always tend to prove number 5. I'd love someone to call in. If you want to talk about politics, you want to talk about any of the topics on the board, the time to call in is now. How are y'all doing, chat? No dead ass. People are like, you were so rude to this person. I'm like, I don't care. Wow. Whoopee. Here's the smallest violin, dude. Who gives a fuck? You, apparently. You know who doesn't give a fuck? Me. God damn. How dare I be rude? My gosh, how dare I? Anyway, Trump is a terrible president. He's done nothing to significantly benefit America and or the American people. He's passed no major legislation, save for the big, beautiful bill. And even that is a bit of a lackluster bill, in my opinion. You have no compelling evidence for Christianity. None exists whatsoever. Your religion is most likely made up and you can't prove otherwise. Trans men and women are men and women. Gender affirming care for youth. And if you're MAGA, you're uneducated. And or you're a bad person. Probably the bad person one. Like, let's just keep it $1.50. It's most likely the bad person one. So if you want to debate any of those topics, 219-327-8005. I'll just be here shit talking MAGA until people call in, essentially. Yeah, Jennifer and care for Utes. Oh, 5 pisses them off, dude. And that's hilarious to me. You want to hear this funny comment exchange? So somebody made a comment on one of my recent videos, and then another person commented and said that I was a smug little ass who knows F all, and my little mind tricks are far from intelligent. I'm an overweight basement dweller, the yada yada. So I told him to drink a juice box. Then I told another person in the comments that they're providing nothing of substance, and they go, "You just told somebody to drink a juice box. Where's your substance?" I'm like, You guys are fucking idiots. You genuinely, I think the ability to read would help so many of these people. Truly. I think the ability to read would help them. It would go a long way if they could read. God, it would just be great. It'd be so great if reading was a skill they had. Anyway, Big Chickle, Spoon Sir, and Rain the Mancer, thank you for being first in Twitch chat. Inspector Magnetics, thank you for gifting a month sub on Twitch. Daija Dreamer, thank you for resubscribing for 6 months. Y'all are the best. Telling the truth is mind tricks. They're mad because one of their, it had to have been, because they're saying they know the person. One of their people called in and contradicted themselves 1,000 times. And they're mad that their person couldn't handle an actual debate. And so they're crashing out of my comments section. I don't care. It's fucking useless nonsense. Either call in or like leave it alone, dude. Who gives a fuck? Can we get some W's to Winnie for being on screening today? W Winnie. Yeah, I had my hair done. I gotta go get it cut, but I had it detoxed and then got it retwisted. So it is looking voluptuous today. Reading is communist and gay. That's so funny. You're right. That's why they don't read, because it's communist. I should have known all this time. Why did none of you tell me? I think the best part of arguing with people all day, right? The best part is watching the MAGA like cope and seethe, because they get so upset, dude, for no reason. Like, y'all are technically on top right now. Just enjoy it. But they can't. It's also, can I say, it's so funny watching people like twist themselves after being unable to answer a question. Like, if I ask somebody, are all females on the planet women? And they say yes. Then I ask them if dogs are women, and they say yes. Then I ask them if whales are women, they say yes. Then I ask them if trees are women, and they say no. And I say, why? And they say, well, because all women have to be human. That's a goalpost shift. That's like, people are like, they just corrected themselves. No, that's a goalpost shift, fam. They quite literally shifted that goalpost, doggy. It's a dog-e-dog world. But damn, God forbid they hear a bad word. Oh my God. You said a bad word. How dare you? Why would you say a bad word? Who cares? Like, fuck, bro. Who cares, dude? On a list of things to give a shit about, I'm gonna tell you, this is at the bottom of the list. The bottom of the list. Like, here's the list. This is what you should be, what you're currently caring about. It's at the bottom. This is why I try to start these debates with, like, give me a comprehensive definition of what you think we're talking about. Because I think whatever definition you give me is going to contradict your stance. Almost every time. I tell people all the time, dude. But then they hit you with, well, it has to be this way because the definition is this way. Boring. Such a boring argument. A boring argument that literally means nothing. Like it's genuinely boring. If they hit you with because the definition, bro, I'm asleep. Your arguments put me to sleep. That's how boring it is. New place is good. Happy. New internet is fucking great. And personally, I just think it's embarrassing when they tell me like, oh, well, gender and sex are the same. And I point out, and they go, well, they're only the same in humans. I'm like, so then the terms aren't the same. What? So then gender and sex are different. Every creature has sex. Not every creature has gender. I don't know how many times I have to say these things. Like, it's a little embarrassing that I have to say it so many times. Not for me, embarrassing for them with the lack of listening comprehension. Every goddamn time, bruh. If it's my last night with you, hold me like we're more than giants. I never remember the words. One day I'll look up that song. It's already been 3 hours, bro. We've been here for like 10 minutes. (219-327-8005). 219-327-8005. Oh yeah, I don't have Spectrum anymore. I have Frontier. I got fiber now, baby. I'm rocking a 5 gig plan, baby. I need to get a new network card. My network card only does 2.5 gigs, and I want that full. I want that full 5 gigabytes, my G. Want that full 5G, baby. Remember, YouTube takes 30% of all super chats. Well, if you don't want YouTube to take any of your money when sending it to me, consider sending a tip. Then YouTube doesn't get any of it. Cash App and Venmo are on the screen. I get all that. But it's fully up to you guys. Or send nothing. I don't care. Thank you again, chat, for yesterday. For hitting the goal for the mutual aid. We raised, including my match, we raised about $1,600 for that family. We will have another mutual aid push on Friday. Every Friday is going to be mutual aid. So mutual aid Fridays. So we'll have another mutual aid on Friday, picked out by our lovely mods, Winnie and Pillow. They'll verify, they'll message to, they'll like talk to the people and verify who we're going to have. And we'll try to raise money for another family or individual on Friday. Cause like I said, if the government ain't going to do it, we going to do it. Straight up. Now someone just commenting Shroud of Turin like that shit ain't been proven fake 1,000 times. Dude, I still can't. That call the other day, the guy was like, the Shroud of Turin is fake because that one part that they carbon dated was actually restored from a fire. Had they have gotten any other part of the shroud, I'm like, what's such a fucking bad argument, dude? Holy shit. What type of fallacy would that be? What type of fallacy would that be? Like straight up. The part of the shroud, I mean, I guess it's almost a No True Scotsman. That's not actually a part of the original shroud. That one part of the shroud. The funny thing is, even if the Shroud of Turin was real, it doesn't prove anything. It proves that blood stains. Wow. And then there were people that were like, but look at how well the blood kept. There's cave writings in blood that still exists. Like, whoa, blood stains. Whoa. Holy shit. Crazy. Who would have seen that coming? Certainly not me, Governor. So stupid. Shroud of Tourist Trap is so funny. Hey, Tyler, thank you for the Cash App. Said love your content. Thanks, Tyler. Love you too. Thanks for the support. Remember, chat, I will be gone 15th through the 22nd. I will probably still stream while I'm at Jimmy's place, but like for the most of that time, I won't be online. So we will have some backdated content and some stuff like that, but you know. All right, we already got somebody calling in, so let's do this thing. Coming up to the show, we have Adrian. Adrian wants to talk about trans men and women and thinks that it's just a mental illness. So let's find out why Adrian thinks that. Adrian, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns. Okay, you don't do the pronoun thing, so you don't use. Do you use you don't use any pronouns at all in the English language when you're talking? Okay, so if somebody were to call you he, him, you would get pretty offended because you don't subscribe to that. You would correct them at least. You would be like, no, like if somebody said this is Adrian, he's my best friend, you would be like, don't call me he because I don't use those pronoun stuff. Okay, well, Adrian, there is a chat of people talking right now. That chat of people are going to call you something because that's how they refer to someone. They're not going to use your name over and over again because we would sound like cavemen. Would you prefer they refer to you as a he, a she, an it, a they, a Zer? What would you prefer they refer to you as when they're talking about you in chat?
Use he, him.
Okay, so you do have a set of pronouns you prefer, no problem. So Adrian, you think that trans men and women are not men and women, is that correct?
That's a little nuance for me. So I believe that they have their biological gender, but I also believe that they have their what they identify as, and I believe what they identify as is the gender dysphoria.
Their biological gender and what they identify as is the gender dysphoria. What do you think gender dysphoria is?
I believe it's a mental illness. I believe it was the DSM-4, maybe.
Gender dysphoria is in the DSM-5, and it's not labeled as a mental illness. But what do you think it is? Like, what do you personally? Because you said gender dysphoria would be their identity, so I'm wondering what you think gender dysphoria is.
I believe that it's your mind telling you, oh, I feel like a woman. I feel like I should be a woman. Like I'm a woman trapped in a man's body, right?
No, false. I can tell you what it really is. That's if you're interested in knowing.
Well, I mean, so I did actually just look it up, and that's literally the definition of it is the significant distress or discomfort a person feels due to a mismatch between their gender identity and the sex they were assigned at birth.
Okay, so nothing what you said. So that is not what you said. This is gender dysphoria is just stress, and that stress can be felt by both trans people and cis people. It's stress. It's your brain causes stress because your gender does not align with your sex. Now, this can happen in cisgender people. For instance, men with micropenises tend to present with gender dysphoria. Elderly women can sometimes present with gender dysphoria because their bodies are changing. Men with gynecomastia can present with gender dysphoria. So it's not like specific to trans people. So I don't know how the gender dysphoria would be the identity like you said before, when anybody can have gender dysphoria.
That's fair. That's a fair point, and you articulated that very well. So yeah, I would absolutely agree that it's not specific to trans, but I was using it in regards to trans because that's what we're talking about. Does that make sense?
That's not what I was talking about.
We're not
gender incongruence, which is just the when you have a misalignment between your gender and your sex, right? Just having those things not be aligned, that's gender incongruence. Gender incongruence is separate from gender dysphoria. You can actually be trans and not have gender dysphoria. Some trans people who've gone through medical transition no longer experience gender dysphoria. They now experience what's classified as gender euphoria, where they're happy about their phenotypic expression, so they don't have that stress anymore. So like when I'm talking about trans people, I'm talking more identity more than I am talking about dysphoria.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So then would you say that someone who has gender euphoria because they feel that their mind, or because in their mind their mind is more aligned? Sorry. Let me
take your time.
So would you say, yeah, hold on. So would you say that someone who, like, say a man transitions to a woman, right? Now, in his mind, he thinks he's a woman, and so he makes his body outwardly match that, and he feels more at peace. What would you, I mean, that's just a plain transition, right?
Well, out the gate, I would say that is a woman, right? So I wouldn't call them a he, just out the gate. Would I say that they transitioned? Yeah, they transitioned. They transitioned by altering the phenotypic expression of their body and their the social expression of their body. So yeah, I'd say they transitioned. Is there a question in that?
So well, no. So then, at what point does biology stop mattering then? Because biologically, if you were to look at their chromosomes, they would be that of a male.
Possibly. Depends on what chromosomes you count as male. And depends on what chromosomes they have. We know that there are I think it's between 20 and 40 different chromosome expressions with the sex chromosomes. So it would just depend on which ones they have. When we're talking about trans people, I'm talking about gender and sex. Gender and sex have a linking, but I would say that they're two different concepts. So when I'm looking at someone's gender, I'm not really too worried about what their sex is doing. The only time I'm really worried about what their sex is doing is if they are expressing a need for some type of care, whether it's medical intervention or social intervention. If they're just expressing to me their identity, I'm not really too worried about what their sex is, at all. I could care less.
I would agree, and I just need to I need to put this out there. I love having conversations like this, but I am by no means transphobic at all. I have a sister who is mid transition as well. She's transitioning to a man. So I have full support and love for them.
Adrian, can I ask you a personal question?
Yes, sir.
If your sibling is transitioning and becoming to them what they need to be to identify as a man, do you think it might be rude or harmful to them, whether they express it or not, to consistently refer to them as a woman?
Oh, I could definitely understand how they would take offense to that, and I definitely it's weird because I can talk about this, I can have my views, but I can still have respect for the other person, right? I can still treat them with dignity and address them in the way they want to be addressed, because I'm not, I have my views, but I'm not a douchebag.
Let me follow up with that. Let's say me and you met in public and we became friends, right? Would it be respectful if whether you care or not, would it be a sign of respect if you told me you were a man, but for our entire friendship, I just call you a woman? I'm I don't care that you call yourself a man. I'm going to call you whatever I want to call you. Does that seem like a respectful thing to do? You might think it is. You might think it's not. I'm asking genuinely.
Well, no, I can definitely appreciate how it's taken as disrespectful for sure. Absolutely.
Do you think it would
understand and appreciate that.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah. Do you think it would then help? Like, don't you think it would make your now brother, don't you think it would make him feel good if you referred to him as a him, not like as your sister, as I don't know if you've ever spoken to trans people, but especially when they themselves have and I won't speak for all trans people, some don't give a shit, so it is what it is. But if a trans person is trying to transition and they are trying to experience life in all that it is that they've been missing since they've been identifying as the gender they were assigned at birth, don't you think it would help your sibling to affirm them as a woman as much as you can?
Well, I think I'm less concerned with helping their feelings. I can still be respectful and considerate, and so I don't have to be like, "Oh, you're."
Can you square that?
Can
you square that circle with me? How can you be respectful while disrespecting what their feelings are?
Well, I wasn't finished yet. So okay, so we will use my sister who is transitioning. She's not there yet to the point where like she's ready to be to call herself a man. She's not there yet, and so she's comfortable with me talking to her in this way. But because I'm also a religious person, right? I have to speak the truth, or speak the truth as I see it, because everybody sees this a little differently, right? So I have to speak the truth, and she knows that, and she knows that I'm true in my beliefs, and that's just what my
what religion do you follow?
So I am a Christian, right? So I believe that we're supposed to speak the truth in love. I can love the sinner, hate the sin. Wouldn't the truth
of Christianity though be that in God's eyes, God doesn't see male or female, so God doesn't really give a shit what you are?
No, God.
There's neither Jew nor Gentile nor male nor female in the kingdom of the Father. That's a direct passage in the Bible. God doesn't see male or female. There is no male or female once we get it up to heaven. As far as God's concerned, we can be whatever we want.
But on this earthly plane, he definitely addressed people by their gender, right? Like when Jesus was walking the earth, he definitely addressed people by their gender, right? Like there are passages in the Bible where he was talking to Mary, or where he was talking to John, like all over the place. So
yes, but he also recognized that in his Father's eyes, that didn't really exist.
Well, I can't presume to speak for God. I know that I can read what Jesus said and interpret that, because Jesus is part of the Trinity. But in so much,
yeah, I mean, so can I. Like I said, there is neither Jew nor Gentile, neither slave nor free, nor is there male or female, for you are all one in Christ.
Yes.
There's no male or female.
Right,
Jesus
but it's not.
Christ doesn't care. Christ doesn't care about what your gender is. I feel like if he did, he would say there is male and female. We do care, right? He would be pretty on point about that.
I'm sorry. I disagree with that. I think that in eternity it's not going to matter, but on this earthly plane it does matter.
Where does God in the Bible? Where does God mention that he doesn't like trans people, like specifically, or that it's wrong to be trans, or that being trans would be opposite of truth?
Do you mind if I pull up the verse that comes to mind for me real quick?
Sure.
So I believe it was in Deuteronomy.
Okay. Which verse?
22:5. There shall not be an article of a man upon a woman, and a man shall not put on a wrapper of a woman, because everyone doing these is an abomination unto the Lord your God.
So you think every cisgender woman that wears pants is committing a sin?
I'm sorry?
Do you believe every cisgender woman that wears pants, are they committing a sin? Are they going against God?
I don't see the allegory for that.
Women shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man. That's saying they won't wear male garments of clothing. Literally says, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. So you would say, if you're holding this as weight for trans people, you would hold it about weight for cisgender people, right? And then if that were the case, if a trans woman wears pants to you, that would be fine. God would be chill with that, right? Like this verse is just talking about the clothes you wear. And even then it makes kind of no sense, right? Why does God care what clothes you wear? Seems weird, like, to give us free will and then like, but don't wear a dress.
I don't see where you're seeing that pants are a man's article of clothing. I'm not understanding that.
Did women in Bible times wear pants?
I would imagine they did. Granted, they're not, yogas or leggings, they're not.
Okay, so what are male,
not,
what,
they're not
so
some of
this
the
says a
pants we have
woman
today.
shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man. So what are male clothes then? What are the clothing women are not supposed to wear?
A woman must not wear men's clothing.
But what's the men's clothing?
You know
It's
what?
not
sir?
pants. What is
That
it?
is. You got me stumped there, my man. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Yeah, and I mean nowhere in the Bible does it say males can't be women or females can't be men. So even this verse would just say that trans, like my interpretation would be, if we were saying this verse is accurate, is that trans women must wear women's clothes.
The only thing I see on it is 1 Timothy 2:9-10, where it says that women should adorn themselves in respectable apparel with modesty and self-control, not with braided hair and golds or pearls or costly attire, but with what is proper for women who profess godliness.
Mm-hmm. So women with braided hair are committing sins?
I think it's the modesty and self-control.
Women must have modesty and self-control.
I mean that's what 1 Timothy says.
Because First Timothy is about like the way women behave in the church. It's not about like general society. Specifically references the church. Like that's the context of First Timothy. It's not like a gospel or a God-given command. It's church order. So it doesn't shock me that the women of the church should be modest. They're the women of the church. But like, do you believe all women should be modest?
Do I believe that all women should be modest?
Yeah, we're a little off topic, but it's fine.
I guess. Hey man, you know what? I love this ebb and flow, man. This is great. I've never actually seen your show before, so when I saw it, I was like, I'm off today. I got nothing to do. Let's have a good conversation, see where it takes us. So I'm grateful for that.
I always love a good glazing.
What's that?
What?
I didn't catch what you said.
I said I always love a good glazing.
Oh yeah, man. No, I think women should. I think women in general could dress more modestly. I'm not their husband, so I'm not going to tell them. But I know what the Bible says, and I have my personal beliefs. But
Well, the Bible verse you're quoting about it is specific to the church, though. It's not about women outside of the church. It's about women in the church service. But either way, is there anywhere in the Bible where, like, to get us back on topic, is there anywhere in the Bible where God says males can't be women? Because if so, I missed that verse completely in Bible class.
Um, hmm. No,
Okay, then I would say that
no.
like trans people definitely don't go against God in any way then. And it doesn't affect any sort of biblical truth. Now we can then talk about, does it affect any sort of truth in terms of science or biology if you'd like to, but biblically it doesn't go against any biblical truths.
You know, that's a fair point. Can't even dispute that at this moment.
Okay. Do you think so? Like I said, you said that you think it just goes against truth. What truth claim then do you think it goes against? Biological truth, sociological truth, psychological truth.
Well, I mean, sociological, right? Like, I don't necessarily know that it has that big of a, I don't know, like scientific impact, I guess, sociologically, in my opinion, right? Like, I don't see trans stuff everywhere and be like, oh my God, they're talking about the trans people again, you know, like, it's, so in that regard, I don't think sociologically it really matters.
Okay.
But I mean, scientifically, even, right? Like the chromosome thing is just it's hard to get over. It just is.
Okay. Well, here, let me present you an argument, and I'll see if we can't get you over that hurdle. I think you have the ability to get over that hurdle more than anyone I've talked to in the last week. So we're going to find out. When we look at categorization, so we're looking at the way we as humans categorize things into different categories, right? Men and women are the categories we're talking about here, right? So we're talking about how someone fits in these sociological categories created, man and women. Now, you're saying in order to fit in those sociological categories, it's going to be down to this biological trait that all people have, and that trait is going to be chromosomes. Correct me if I'm saying anything incorrect to your stance.
I think the chromosomes people have.
Yep. So those chromosomes that people have, that will basically put you into these different categories, and those being man and women based on those chromosomes.
Male or female.
Sure, but you would say that if you're male, you would be man. If you're female, you'd be woman.
Yes.
Okay. So then, it's still where we're at, right? So you're saying that there is this necessary trait that you have to possess, and for man, it's going to be having male chromosomes, and for woman, it's having female chromosomes. Do I have that correct?
Well, are we making the assumption that chromosomes equal anatomy?
I wouldn't say chromosomes equal anatomy. Scientifically, I'd say like genes equal anatomy, like which genes express. Specifically, if we're looking at like sex expression, it tends to be when the SRY gene expresses itself on whatever chromosome it expresses itself on. That's what will dictate male anatomy, is that expression of that gene. But like, what I'm trying to boil down to is chromosomes are not this even split thing in human sexual development. So, for example, we have cases of females who have pure 46 XY karyotyping. So these are females whose chromosomes are XY. Now, if we're going by the way you're splitting up sex and gender, these females would be men, in your opinion, right? Because they have those chromosomes, even though like they present as women, they have the anatomy of women, females. They present as women most of the time. They have the anatomy of females, but because of that chromosome, you would still label them as men. Do you see the flaw in that line of thinking?
I don't necessarily consider it a flaw because the fact remains that there are going to be genetic anomalies in any group, especially one as massive as humans are. You know, I mean, what is it, like 1.8 billion people in the world or something like that?
So this is the point I'm making, though,
Adrian.
Adrian.
There are going to be genetic anomalies, but I think on the whole, that's not going to be the case for most of society. Like I would need to see what like percentage it is of women that have these cases. I would need more.
Let me tell you something. The frequency wouldn't matter when we're talking about categorization. One exception breaks the rule when it comes to categorization in this way, right? If you're saying that categorization is based on a specific biological trait, one exception breaks that rule, right? Now, I agree with you that human development is a little wild when we have a bunch of people. I think you said like 1.8 billion. I think you just had that backwards. I think you meant like 8 billion. But when it comes to categorization, I would say that we can't categorize gender by a singular sex trait because human development is so varied and because there's a bunch of us and because yada, yada, and yada, yada, and yada, yada.
I still wouldn't say it breaks the rule. I would say, if anything, it creates its own category, but that's not necessarily breaking the rule.
So do you think there are three sexes then in humans? Male, woman, and what would that third category be?
I think that would be like an exceptional case. It would be genetic anomalies, but I don't think that necessarily creates.
So it's male, female,
or creates
and genetic anomalies.
Creates a third gender.
Okay, so if it doesn't create a third category, then these people still need to be categorized, and this is an exception to the rule. The rule you've made, right, is that males have male chromosomes and women have female chromosomes, which I'm assuming for you is XY and XX respectively. So that is a rule that these people must have these things to be in this category. But if here comes somebody that doesn't have those things and they can still get into that category, those things were never required in the first place. That'd be like if I was like, hey, let me give you an example that I tend to use. Let's say I have a road and I say, in order to drive on this road, it is necessary. You must drive a red car. Only red cars are allowed on this road. But sometimes I let in a blue car. Sometimes I let in yellow cars. Look, here comes a green Honda Civic. Well, clearly, red cars were never actually necessary to drive on this road. It might be the case that we say red cars are the ones that typically drive on this road, but they're not necessary. You can actually drive on this road with a bunch of different color cars. Does that make sense?
I don't agree to agree with that analogy. Like,
what specifically don't you agree with about? Like what's your specific intention with it?
We're not letting in any of the cars.
That's not true. Again,
like you have a red car. You have a red car, and if you don't have a red car, you're on the frontage road. If you don't have a red car, right?
Okay.
Although I guess on this road it would have to be like red and blue, right? So red and blue, male and female, are allowed to drive on this road. Any other color car has to take the frontage road, right?
Okay. Let's boil all of it down real quick, Adrian. Let's boil all of it down. In order to be a man, you must be male. In order to be male, you must have male chromosomes. What are those chromosomes that males must possess?
I believe males are XX, right?
No, they're XY. XX would be female.
X.
So in order to be male, you must be XX. So in order to drive on this road, the road is male, right? The road itself is male. Driving on this road is what makes you a male, right? Or driving on the road puts you into the category. The road is the category. The car we drive is the trait. So in order to be a male and drive on the male road, you have to have an XY car. And in order to be a female and drive on the female road, you have to have an XX car, right? If you don't have an XY car, you're not a male, so you can't drive on the male road. If you don't have an XX car, you're not a female, you can't drive on the female road. So what do we do when we have somebody who is classified female, but they have the XY car? What do they do? Are they driving on the female road? Or now are we saying they're driving on the male road and all of a sudden males give birth? Because there are people who are female, they have XY chromosomes, but they can be impregnated, they can give birth, they have a uterus, they have Swyer syndrome. So what road, because unless you're saying there's now a third sex category that I've been unaware of my whole life, it could exist. I'm not saying it doesn't. But unless there's a third road, what road does this person drive on?
I guess in that instance, they would drive the female road if they present as a female and have the female anatomy. So
here we go. So then it's not about the chromosomes. So the chromosomes weren't actually what was important to drive on the road. It's about the anatomy. Because you said, hey, well, you don't have the chromosomes. We'll forego that. It's the anatomy that's the most important. So now we have to get into the anatomy part. What anatomy is needed to drive in the female road?
The ability to give birth, so uterus, fallopian tubes, cervix,
Okay, so in order to drive on the female road,
to give birth.
In order to drive on the female road, you must possess the ability to give birth, or is it that you must possess the parts that are needed to give birth?
I think it's the ability, right?
Okay. Now here comes somebody trying to drive on the female road. From birth, from the moment they were born, they're sterile. They don't even possess a uterus, right? They can't give birth. They do not have that ability. Which road does this person drive on?
I mean, do they still have the female chromosome still?
Well, like we said, it doesn't.
Like
we've talked about, it's not actually about the chromosomes, right? Because whether they had the chromosomes or not, they could still drive on the road if they had the anatomy. So what you're saying is it's an and or thing. They must possess this and or this to drive on the road.
I don't believe that they are mutually exclusive.
What do you mean?
You know, like
your chromosomes don't tell us what your sexual expression is. That would be based upon the expression of the SRY gene.
But correct me if I'm wrong, that generally tends to happen pretty early on.
Yeah, the SRY gene expresses in utero.
So I mean, I guess before it expresses, you could say that they're neither or both. But I think after that expression, like it's not mutually exclusive. Because
what isn't mutually exclusive?
If you have fallopian tubes, but you don't have a uterus, does that make you any less of a woman? No, you're still a woman.
What if you don't have fallopian tubes? What if you have no female reproductive parts? Does that make you any less of a woman?
No, because at that point it would come down to your chromosomes then. If you were missing part of the female anatomy, but your chromosomes still presented as female, that would
why would
allow
the chromosomes be the thing that matters then now?
because her chromosomes, even though she doesn't have the female reproductive parts, her chromosomes would still be the same as another woman who does have the reproductive parts.
So the thing that I'm trying to get to in the conversation, which I'll just start telling you because it'll just save us some time. The thing I'm trying to show you here is that when we're splitting stuff up scientifically, like this is just how we categorize in science, and we're saying that we have these two categories, male and female, in order for them to be exclusionary, in order for you to say you cannot be in this category, there has to be one specific trait or a list of traits that you must possess. However, if you're saying it's multiple traits, all of those multiple traits must be possessed, because otherwise some of them no longer become necessary. So if you say it's XY chromosomes and it's the expression of female sex organs, well, if you don't need XY chromosomes, then that was never necessary to begin with. So for exclusionary categories, whether you have one necessary condition or multiple, all must be present in order for it to be exclusionary. But what it sounds more like you're describing, right, because you're giving the or, is you're describing what's known as sufficient conditions. Now, sufficient conditions, unlike necessary, can absolutely have an or, because you're not saying you need these things to have, you're just saying these things are sufficient enough to grant you access. But the thing about sufficient conditions is those are more, those are aligned with what we call familial or cluster categorization. And familial and cluster categorization are not exclusionary categories. You can't say someone can't be a part of this category because they don't possess something. You just say having enough of X in whatever direction you want to look at puts you in this category. So we just need to boil down which you're saying. Are you saying that men and women are categorized via necessary conditions? They're categorized by exclusionary categories? Or are they categorized by cluster categories?
So I would say probably the second one.
Okay. So if men and women are
familial.
Yeah. If men and women are categorized by familial categorization, then they cannot be exclusionary categories. So you can't say someone cannot be in this category because they don't possess a specific thing. It's just not how that works. So therefore, because they are not exclusionary, saying that a trans woman can't be a woman because she doesn't have XX chromosomes would be an illogical statement.
No, I don't agree with that.
Okay, well, unfortunately, we have hit our time. What I would say is go back. I'm going to post this call, so go back and listen to the call, especially these last like 10 minutes, and then call back on another day and see if we can maybe square that circle out, okay?
I would love to, man. I'm actually going to subscribe so that way I don't miss these, because I mean, this is great. This is great, dude. It was awesome. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you for the
no
time.
problem. Shout out to Balthazar for paying to Yeet. Yeetisthine deletus. I don't know. I think it was pretty clear on that, but hopefully he listens back, calls back, and can present a slightly different argument. I'm gonna quickly go and turn my air on because it's fucking hot in here. We have two callers in the queue that are both gonna get answered when I get back. 219-327-8005 if you want to call and debate. I'd really love to get some theist callers in. So if you're a Christian, you want to debate about the truth of your religion, would love to do that because I love theism debates. If not, don't. But I'm gonna go use the bathroom really quick. Or not use the bathroom. I'm gonna go I also gotta fucking eat. Holy shit. I didn't realize, because immediately after I got my hair done, I hopped on here, and I forgot that I haven't eaten since breakfast, which was 8 o'clock. So I need to put something in my belly. But I'm gonna quickly go turn the air on, then I'll be right back. And then I'll order food while I'm sitting here. Holy shit on my nard. The heat is on 72, but that shit is at 77. No. Oh, one of the people hung up. They didn't want to talk. The last time I got pizza was when I did a stream with Lux. Is it weird? Not weird. Should I get pizza again if it's Saturday and the last time I had pizza was Tuesday? Or should I order something else? What do you guys think, chat? Get Lil Maine? I don't like Chinese food. I think I even have I think I have a free pizza. Didn't I get... That's right. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I think I got 2 free pizzas. Oh, it's about to get wicked up in this bitch. I think I'm making business in a 6 diamond. I literally have 2 free pizzas, bitch. Someone said you should go for a run. I do every morning, 7 a.m. How often do you run? Hold on, I'm ordering this food before we take the next call. Wait a minute. I think I'm listening. Oh, this is wicked. Literally get 2 pizzas. All I gotta pay is the delivery charge. God damn. We're gonna take these. I'm just seeing if there's anything else I want to add to this bitch. Do I want a cookie brownie? I think I do. I think I doobie doobie doo doo. Kale loves orange soda. Liddy spaghetti. Left beef. Love it. All right. Now that I've got my food order situated, let's take the next caller. Coming up next in the show, we have Nathan. Nathan wants to talk about MAGA being uneducated. Nathan, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
Hey, Jovan. Yeah, I'm Nathan, and I'm a guy.
Yeah, that didn't answer any of the 2 questions I asked you.
Okay. Oh, age. Sorry. 32. Distracted. I got the little toddler here.
All right. And now your pronouns.
I don't do the pronoun stuff. Sorry. I just I didn't pick the transgender topic, but
This
I
has
just
nothing to
believe in
do.
the binary.
This has nothing to do with being trans. What do you mean you don't do the pronoun stuff? What does that even mean? Like as a sentence, what does that mean?
I don't buy into that at all.
I don't know what you mean by buy into that. Nobody calls you he in your daily life. No one's ever called you he before.
They do, yeah. People call me he. Yes.
So you do it. Okay, great.
I mean,
why was that so difficult?
I don't introduce myself with pronouns.
I wasn't asking you to introduce yourself. I asked you very specifically. That's not asking you to introduce yourself with them. You're not offering up the information because you just want to.
Yeah, but we didn't pick the transgender topic, so we don't need to get into it, but I just don't.
This has nothing to do with being trans
at all.
This is like quite literally nothing to do with being trans. I'm asking you.
I mean, isn't it
trans?
Really, though, because the whole idea of everybody using pronouns is to make transgender people not feel left out when they
Nathan, are you a trans person?
Okay. I am not.
You're not, but you have pronouns that you use, right? People use pronouns to refer to you.
I mean, people use pronouns in the English language to refer to people. Yes.
And they refer to you, who is not trans, by pronouns.
They refer to me, since I'm a guy, they would use the he, him pronouns.
So it has nothing to do with being trans, because they refer to you by pronouns, even though you're not a trans person.
I mean, like 20 years ago, this conversation wouldn't happen. So
20 years ago, I wouldn't be talking to somebody about my Spotify playlist. What does that have to do with anything?
That would say that Spotify didn't exist 20 years ago.
Great. Whoop-de-doo, but it does now, right?
Yeah, it does.
Would you, if I said to you, Nathan, what was your Spotify Wrapped? And you went, well, we didn't do Spotify Wrapped 20 years ago. Wow. Okay. That didn't answer the question I asked, though.
Yeah, but wouldn't you agree a new technology is different than how we define gender?
No, we change definitions definitions change all the time. By nature, definitions are supposed to change when language changes. So no, it doesn't surprise me.
Binaries don't change.
Where I don't know what you keep talking about the binary. There is no binary.
Yeah, there's a sex binary, male and
sex is on a bimodal distribution model. That's how science dictates sex, not by a binary.
Okay, sure. Two. Bimodal, binary, it's two. It's always been two. It always will be two.
I don't think you know what bimodal means, but that's fine. Nathan, you think MAGA is not uneducated. Is that correct?
I mean, you said either uneducated or a bad person, and I don't necessarily agree with that. And I wanted to ask, I asked the lady who was very nice that took me in on the queue, what do you mean by MAGA? Is that any Republican? Is there like a specific subset of Republicans, or maybe they don't need to be Republican, but what does MAGA mean first before?
If you unilaterally support Donald Trump with no critique or criticism, you are consistent in supporting this administration to a level of, or you know what? I'll even phrase it differently. In order to be MAGA, you just have to support Donald Trump. I'm just gonna be so for real. If you support Donald Trump, you're MAGA at this point. Okay. Yeah.
And by support, you mean like if you voted for him in 2024? What does support mean? Is that like die hard, wearing the red hat?
Nope. If you voted for Donald Trump,
advocating for him, is it like, hey, I voted for him last time?
If you voted for Donald Trump, and at this point in his administration, you were not calling for him to either resign or be impeached, I think you're MAGA.
Oh, okay. All right. I mean, that's a lot of people in the country, but okay.
I would say a lot of people are MAGA, so yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so then if that's the definition of MAGA, then I would disagree with that they're either uneducated or bad people.
Okay, you think MAGA are educated people?
I didn't say they're necessarily educated. I mean, who's educated on everything, really? When you say uneducated, in my mind, especially from someone on the left side of the political aisle, it's kind of a description of an uneducated country rube. And I really don't agree that
I don't know why that's
the case. People are that or bad people.
When I say MAGA is uneducated, I mean they are uneducated on political policy, both domestic and foreign. And if they were to educate themselves on political policy, both foreign and domestic, they would either stop being MAGA or they would continue to support MAGA because they are bad people who like to see people that don't look like them get hurt.
Yeah, I mean, I still wouldn't even agree with that. I mean, I think most people are not extremely educated on this stuff. But if I look at politicians like a J.D. Vance, I'm going to definitely say he's MAGA. I mean, he's the vice president. Definitely
yes, I would say J.D. Vance is a bad person.
I don't think he's a bad person either.
100% a bad person.
Huh?
He's absolutely a bad person.
Why do you think he's a bad person?
He admitted on live TV that him and Donald Trump lied about Haitian immigrants eating pets. I think you're a bad person if you lie about an entire group of people on live TV.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bad thing. Everybody does bad things, when does it become somebody is, hey, this is a bad person, as
When you
opposed to,
when you purposely do it in order to hurt a large group of people, I think that makes you a bad person. Because he could have said, oh no, there is no evidence of people eating dogs and cats. That is our bad. We're sorry. He didn't. He said, we lied about it. And of course we're going to lie about it if it makes our side look good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get into a tu quoque, but pretty much every politician by this definition is a bad person. Would you agree with that?
Do I agree that every politician makes up stuff about a group of people to make those people look bad? No, I don't think they do. So I wouldn't say every politician is a bad person.
You kind of, it wasn't only that, it was kind of a purposeful lying. And
no, I don't think, nope. I clarified when you asked me, Nathan, I clarified. I said purposely lying in order to hurt a large group of people.
Oh.
When I tell my kids Santa Claus exists, that's a purposeful lie. It's not a purposeful lie meant to hurt people. But when you purposefully lie to hurt a large group of people, I do think that's 100% bad. And that would just be one of the many reasons I think JD Vance is a bad person. We could go into the Peter Thiel money. We could go into more recently when he's made up lies about the woman that was just shot and killed. We can go into a bunch of shit with JD Vance if you want to, but I'm specifically talking about like MAGA voters and people who are voting for this administration and the furtherance of this administration.
Okay. Well, what is it about this administration that you believe would be so horrible that somebody either is uneducated or a bad person to support them? And support, by the way, for you, it doesn't have to be diehard support, right? It could just be like, for me, I don't agree with everything Trump does. I voted for him in 2024. If it happened all over again, I would vote for him over Kamala again. I'm not diehard enthusiastic, but I'm a pragmatic person that sees there's two choices, and one I align with a lot more and think would be better for the country than the other. So how much support is it where it's like, hey, you're either uneducated or you're a bad person because you support this guy?
I mean, do you support
like
Trump sending people to concentration camps?
Do I support his what?
Do you support the fact that Trump has sent people with no criminal history to concentration camps?
I don't think he's sending to people with concentration camps. If you're talking about deportations, you don't need to have a extra crime to be deported. Simply being in the country illegally is grounds for deportation. Doesn't mean I think every single person who's here illegally should be deported. I'm
not talking about just deportation. If you're just deporting somebody to a country and then they get to go into that country and do whatever they want, that's fine. I'm talking about purposely sending people to prison camps in other countries. Does sending people who with no criminal history,
the El Salvador thing?
Does sending people with no criminal history to prison camps constitute Trump as a bad person and or lose your support for Donald Trump?
Sending people to prison camp. I mean,
Correct.
I don't agree with the premise of what you're saying. So
you don't agree? Is CCOT a prison camp? Yes or no?
I'm answering hypothetical that I don't think
is CCOT a prison camp? Yes or no?
CCOT definitely is a prison camp.
Okay. Has he sent people to CCOT with no criminal record?
When you say no criminal records, you might be referring to no U.S. criminal records. I mean, maybe
I'm talking about with zero criminal record at all. I'm talking about zero criminal records at all. Not in here, not in their home country.
That would be terrible if it was true. I haven't fact-checked it, but I don't think that's happened. But if it did, I think that would be horrible.
It is true. Kilmar Abrego Garcia has no criminal record in either the U.S. or El Salvador, and he was sent to CCOT for months.
He did have, He was in MS-13 though, right?
Nope. You're believing the lie.
All right, I need to go back and...
Because when his case was literally just dismissed by a federal judge asked the Trump administration for proof that he is a part of a gang. They presented none. They have zero proof to present to a judge, either in the Supreme Court case or the current federal case that was going up against him. In fact, the judge said Kilmar Abrego Garcia probably has grounds for a vindictive trial case because it's very clear they had zero evidence when they arrested him. So he has no criminal record in either America or El Salvador, and he was sent to a prison camp in El Salvador, even though a federal judge granted him a withholding of removal to El Salvador. He's legally not supposed to be sent there.
But That
but
doesn't
that's what.
necessarily mean he wasn't in MS-13, though. I mean, it's not like
There's
these
no
people
evidence he was
register with
MS-13.
a database in El Salvador.
There's no evidence. You're just speculating based off of quite literally zero evidence. And you're trying to justify his go to a prison camp by going, well, he was a part of MS-13. I don't have any evidence he was a part of MS-13.
I'm not trying to justify it. I'm just
well, that
saying,
would be
like,
saying,
just because
well,
the administration didn't present anything doesn't mean that he wasn't in MS-13.
Nathan, when you use the phrase, but he was in blank, when I'm talking about him going to a prison camp, that is justification. Even if he was part of MS-13, let's say he was, he has no criminal history. He has no convictions.
But this is, yeah.
I'm sorry. Do you go to prison when you've not been to trial? Is prison now someplace we just send people because we think they might be a part of a gang? Or do you need to go through due process?
In America, we don't. But in El Salvador, in a country overrun by gangs, I would not be opposed if the leader said, you know what, even without a crime, these
Bukele
gang
does.
members,
Bukele, the leader of El Salvador, is a self-admitted dictator who does do that. He quite literally openly does that because he's a dictator. But I'm talking to you about somebody who's in America. They were legally in America because they had a withholding of removal to El Salvador. They were working in America. They met with the Department of Homeland Security literally every year to recertify their ability to work in the country. They have no criminal history. And so they were snatched up off the street and sent to a third country. I guess an original country, because El Salvador is where he's from, was sent to a country he had a legal order not to be sent to and placed in a prison camp while he has no criminal history. How is that not human trafficking at the very least?
I mean, it would be terrible. The Biden administration did terrible things. The Obama administration did terrible things.
Great. So you admit Trump did a terrible thing.
That
is what you're
hasn't
telling
committed
me.
atrocities.
You have admitted to me now that you admit to me that Trump is doing terrible things.
I mean, I never said the guy was perfect. I mean, that's not.
I'm not asking if he's perfect. I'm saying is he currently doing terrible things?
Some things he's doing are terrible, I think.
At what point of sending people to prison camps do we say step out of office, or none? Can he just do it carte blanche?
I don't know. I mean, I know that FDR, who the left idealizes, threw a bunch of people in torture camps because
I don't know why. I don't know why every response from you has to be a whataboutism. I don't care about FDR. He's dead.
No, I mean, it has to be a whataboutism because we're talking about
because you can't focus on talking about
universally
Trump.
Not great people.
No, it's because you can't focus the conversation on Trump.
Immoral compared to past politicians.
No, again, you can't focus the conversation on Trump. You have to move to what other people did to justify what Trump is doing instead of saying Trump did bad.
What you're going to do is just point out every little thing Trump has done that's bad.
Is he currently the president?
It's going to be a long list. Like, it's a long list with all of them. I don't think it means all MAGA people, as you describe them, are uneducated or bad people.
Now let's analyze. So Trump did all these bad things. What did Kamala Harris do that was as bad as sending someone to a prison camp who committed no crime?
That doesn't work because she was a vice president. They're figureheads.
Doesn't matter. She was running for office up against someone that sends people to prison camps. You said you would vote for him over Kamala Harris. So she must have done something bad that you think
Trump
is worse.
Over Kamala Harris.
You said you would do it again.
Yeah, I was using Biden as a proxy for Kamala.
Okay, what did Biden do? What did Biden do that was as bad as sending people to prison camps?
What did Biden do? Biden, I put on the, when I was talking to a lady, I'm extremely anti-abortion. I know you're not. But to me, that's an atrocity where innocent people get killed every single day. And I'm not a one-issue voter, but that's big. And I know Kamala's position was essentially no restrictions for any reason.
No, it wasn't.
So there's one thing that, of course, you're going to disagree with me on that, but
that wasn't her position.
Human travesty.
That wasn't her position.
It was.
No.
It was.
No, it wasn't.
When a politician, when you ask them, do you support any restrictions on abortion, and they say, I support a woman's right to choose, you got to read between the lines and see that means no. That means
nope. Kamala Harris supported Roe v. Wade. Kamala Harris supported Roe v. Wade. So to claim that she supported just any and all with no restrictions is a lie. She supported going back to Roe v. Wade. In fact, she said she wanted federal legislation to restore Roe v. Wade. To restore us back to Roe v. Wade.
Well, when
Roe v. Wade was not any and all access.
When reporters ask them, do you support any restrictions, and they just parrot I support a woman's right to choose. Isn't that reasonable to say, okay, the answer is no? They just don't want to say no because it would be.
I think it's
bad
reasonable
headline?
for you to do further research, but I guess you didn't want to do that.
Even Roe v. Wade, by the way, I don't support. So that
Why
doesn't
not?
really work for me personally. It might
What's
work for
wrong with
some people.
What's wrong with Roe v. Wade?
I just don't believe in abortion except to save the life of the mother. I think it's a human life from the beginning, from conception. Because I think it's a human life from conception. All humans have value, and inherent value.
Why?
And to take away human life, why do humans have? Well, I'm Christian. I believe humans are made in the image of God, and that's
so
where they
because
get
of a
their
belief
inherent
that you
value.
hold based on your religion that not other people hold, you believe that we should federally remove abortions on like a federal level and put a law against them
Well,
because
if you have a
you want to
religion and
enforce
you believe in a truth claim, you believe that's the truth for
yes,
everyone.
you want to
whether they
enforce
believe it or
your
not,
so you
right?
want to enforce your religion legally and force people
No,
to
it's not
follow your religion
necessarily,
legally.
No, because there are people that are
Yes.
not Christian that also don't believe in. They believe in the same thing.
Great, but I'm not
Morally,
talking about
it's not
them.
only
I'm not
a
talking. I don't know.
religious
I don't know why people who I debate do that. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about you. I don't care what those people believe. You believe because you are Christian that means life has inherent value. So because of these Christian beliefs, we should legislate something and force other people to follow said Christian beliefs.
I do. Yeah, 100%.
Great, that's illegal, so it's cool.
Okay. I mean, yeah, that's what I believe. It's not really like a gotcha for me at all.
What if somebody came to this country and wanted to enforce Sharia law? Would you agree with that?
No, I wouldn't. I would vote
Why
against
not?
it. I would not
Why
think
not?
the person's terrible for wanting it because I think this is somebody that really believes in.
I don't care about whether you think they're terrible, right? Like, but if they did it, if they did do it, if they were able to vote in Sharia law, you would have no issues though, because they're just voting based on their religious belief.
I mean, it's a democracy. If they win the vote, they win the vote. What can I do? I can move maybe, but they won the vote. What do you, I mean, I don't understand the question. What am I supposed to do?
Let me ask you,
react that way?
let me ask you, you say your religion would prioritize the sanctity of life. Is that correct?
Yes.
How do you square that with the fact that God kills kids all the time in the Bible? Newborns.
What are you referring to?
All of the times God has slaughtered newborns.
Okay, can you give me an example?
Sure, we can look at the Exodus where he kills all the firstborn Egyptian children, and there would be firstborn newborns among them. We can look at all the times that he had Moses and the Israelites go and slaughter entire nations, killing newborns. We can look at the flood, which killed a bunch of newborns, and like even people in the womb. Like, how do we square this? God clearly does not care if fetuses die. One
simple way to square it is the whole idea of murder is humans playing God. It's God that has our life in his hands. And I think it's in the Psalms, he says, vengeance is mine. So human beings murdering people is taking into hands of what trying to play God. It's not,
so as long as God kills them, it's okay.
Right. Possibly.
Okay, so as long as God commands it, and wait, possibly, are there instances where God kills people that you're not okay with?
No, you said if God commands it, so I said it's possible. That doesn't mean that it's,
all of the times God commanded newborns to be slaughtered, you think that those were justified slaughterings and that it's okay?
I think if God does something, it's justified. Now, you're thinking from a kind
okay.
of secular worldview where it's pretty much life on earth is it. And from a Christian worldview, there's the life to come. There's a lot in Christianity of teaching of that, before the age of reason, people go to heaven. So there could be many reasons why newborns are taken. Remember, God can see all things in all time.
I'm talking about specifically the times where he's commanded people to brutally murder newborns. Wait, because you're saying there could be all sorts of reasons. I'm not talking about that.
Maybe this is a person, I'm just going to keep going. Maybe this is a person that was never going to turn to God and was going to be wicked their whole life. Or maybe it was an act of mercy before they can turn to sin.
So
they can have eternal life.
So wouldn't all abortions just be an act of mercy?
I'm not God.
Wouldn't all abortions...
I don't claim to know God.
Wouldn't all abortions be an act of mercy in which all of those fetuses now do not have to suffer sin and they all get to spend eternity with God?
No, because it wasn't a commandment of God, and it's not Christian teaching that, hey, you know what?
So all these fetuses went to hell?
Reach the age of reason to guarantee they go into heaven.
Okay, so aborted fetuses go to hell, is what you're telling me.
No, I think they go to heaven based off Christian teaching.
So is it not okay? So if they go to heaven, then it's a mercy that they were killed in the womb because they don't ever have to risk going to hell.
So in the Bible, God uses man's wickedness sometimes to execute his will.
That's not what I'm talking
like
about.
Israel was defeated by the Babylonians. They were terrible people. That doesn't mean that everything they did was okay, right? It just
I don't know what that has to do with anything. I don't know what that has to do with anything I'm asking.
That doesn't. So yeah, it does because I'm answering your question because maybe the answer is yes. I don't pretend to know.
The answer is definitely
yes. But that doesn't mean that it's on the right of the person to play God and take the life of an innocent human being in the womb.
Well, the answer is definitely yes. It's not maybe yes. It's definitely yes. Definitely they go to heaven. So definitely it was a mercy.
That still wouldn't make it morally justifiable. Just like the Babylonians sacking Israel doesn't make it justifiable.
But when God
used wickedness.
But when God told Moses to slaughter all the Midianites and said slaughter even the babies and then take the children, virgin women and divide them amongst yourself so you can use them as sex slaves, that was justifiable.
So the Old Testament is not as easy to read as people like you pretend.
Yeah,
a lot
yes,
of
it
things
is.
Are allegorical.
No, they're not.
The Midianites, a lot of groups of people are not like an ethnic blood of people. It's kind of a clan that worships pagan rituals.
Doesn't matter.
To be associated with it is to be in a group that perpetually commits evil. So yeah, of course it does matter.
The babies. Like you also so the babies committed evil.
God, why does evil things happen?
The babies that were killed committed evil.
No, they didn't. Do the babies in the womb that get aborted?
Hold on, wait. If the Midianite babies did not commit evil, why did God have Moses slaughter them?
Well, is every woman that's getting abortion getting commanded by God to do it?
You keep trying, because I'm not claiming anybody commanded by God. I don't believe in God. You are. So I'm asking you, who's the believer, and you keep trying to shift it back because you don't like your own internal logic being critiqued. Did the babies who the Midianites had, were they innocent when God told Moses to slaughter them?
Yeah.
Leave none alive. So God killed innocent babies.
Yeah.
But you have a problem when women kill innocent babies.
I told you before that the act of murder is playing God, where it's human beings trying to take life into their own hands.
Is it taking life in
Creator's hands? So that's logical. Is that not logical? Why?
So is it taking
right? One would not be right.
Yeah. Is it taking life into their own hands when God tells Moses to split up the women? I keep saying women. It's children. To split up the virgin children, girls, and use them as sex slaves. Is that taking life into their own hands?
That one, I don't pretend to be a scholar of the Old Testament. Okay, so I'm sure that there's.
Why would you be?
Some. Yeah. Why would I be a scholar of the Old Testament?
Well, why would you have read it? It's just your holy book, you know.
I have read it. I mean, it's.
Then I don't know what
you can't.
Then what's the issue with just answering this question?
Theologian, and that's kind of a ridiculous statement.
Then what's the ridiculous
I have read
thing?
The Old
Okay,
Testament.
so then you should know that God had Moses take a bunch of sex slaves. You shouldn't have to be a historian to know that.
I'm trying to tell you, a lot of things in the Old Testament are allegorical. They're hyperbole. That's the style things were written. Not everybody can get a PhD in ancient Hebrew linguistics. And Old
this is not allegorical. This is literally God told Moses to split up the virgin because it's like word for word. God tells Moses split up the children,
it's
virgins.
Word for word in modern day English. I mean, do you speak ancient Hebrew?
Okay, so it's the what's the translation excuse? That's the excuse.
No, it's not the what's the translation excuse. It's the Bible is written not for 2021 people or 21st century people. It was written. Hold on. It was written for people at a specific time with a specific culture and specific language, and that's critical to understanding it.
Which Bible translation do you use?
I'm Orthodox Christian, so we use the Greek Septuagint for the Old Testament, and then the New Testament is the New King James.
And how do you know that those are accurate? The translations of them are accurate?
I trust in the church that Jesus Christ founded.
Okay, great. So then I will use those, and guess what? They still say those same things. So now what do we do?
They do, but you divorce it from context.
Nope, I don't divorce it from
the
context.
Whole meaning of the overall story of God's character and the salvation plan.
God's character is one of anger and one of extreme death and one of probably the most amount of deaths
Really?
attributed to any being ever.
To give your son so that sinful people can be redeemed is faithful and angry?
Yes. You know why? God could have just forgiven sins. He didn't need to punish Jesus to do it. He didn't need to force your own. You know, if I sat here and was like, hey, let's say I have two children, Johnny and Jack, and I go, Jack, I hate you. I'm mad at you, Jack. You did something wrong, and I will never forgive you. And then one day I'm like, you know what? I should probably forgive Jack. So I slaughter Johnny and go, now, Jack, you're forgiven. I could have just forgiven Jack. God could have just forgiven us of our sins. But instead, he said the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to brutally murder my own son. That makes a lot of sense.
You bring a good point. I've noticed a lot of atheists, they're arguing against American Protestantism version of Christianity. And the Orthodox teaching, what you're basically articulating is penal substitutionary atonement, that God's wrath had to be poured out on Jesus. That's not the Orthodox teaching. It's that Jesus voluntarily gave up his life to redeem mankind and save them from
Jesus
death.
shouldn't have had to have voluntarily given up his life. Jesus shouldn't have had to voluntarily given up his life. First of all, he didn't do anything voluntarily. The Romans were going to kill him either way, but he shouldn't have had to do that. His father should have been like, nah, big dog, I got this. But he didn't. Instead, Jesus.
He didn't have to, but in the Bible it says he gave.
Is God all powerful?
So
is God all powerful or no?
According to the New Testament, he voluntarily gave up his life.
Is God all powerful, Nathan? Is God all powerful?
Yes, God is all powerful.
Then Jesus didn't have to do shit. God could have just forgiven us. Forgiven us, by the way. Crazy he didn't
all powerful choose to do something.
If something all-powerful chooses to do something that results in maximum suffering, that all-powerful being is evil. Because they could have done it without the suffering, but they don't care about that. They like it when the suffering happens.
What suffering are you talking about? I'm getting a little lost.
Jesus's torture and crucifixion, he suffered pretty badly when they were stabbing him with spears and nailing nails through his hands and leaving him out for days on end and putting a thorny crown. Could God have prevented him from needing to do that?
I don't know. I don't know all the inner work. Anyone that pretends to know everything of God is lying.
Let's say it's raining outside. Let's say it's raining outside, and my kid needs to get to school, and he could either walk or I could drive him. There's nothing stopping me from driving him, right? Not a single thing. I just don't want to that day, right? And he's like, it's okay, Dad. I volunteer to walk, right? I'll walk, Dad. It's totally fine. And then he walks to school and like gets brutally murdered. Could I have stopped that murder by just driving him to school that day?
You could have, but that doesn't mean you murdered him. Number
one.
I
chose. Now, what if? Hold on. Wait. Now, what if? Hold on. Now, what if I created the entirety of the universe and I knew from the moment of creation that he would be murdered? If I did not drive him to school, I knew for a fact if I didn't drive him to school, he would be murdered that day. Now, is it my fault?
I don't think this analogy works because if you're talking about
it works completely. You're just fucking a lazy apologetics.
Exactly
See ya. It works completely. You're just lazy apologetics. See ya. Have a good day. Lazy apologetics is so fucking boring. God's all powerful, but it's not his fault when things happen, even though he's all powerful and everything works in accordance to his will. And he created the universe when at the start of the universe, everything all powerful happened, but his son killed himself. It was his volunteer. It's so stupid. It's lazy. Goodbye. Turn around. Look at what you see. Make believe he's everywhere, giving me the light. Lisa's Learning, thank you so much for subscribing for 1 month at tier 1. I'm actually giving you a shout out. I've been looking at some of your content and it's been pretty dope. So I'm gonna shout you out. Everybody go follow Lisa is Learning. They got some pretty cool content here on the Twitch, and they're leftist, and you know how we fuck with leftists over in this. What else we got up in this piece? Kills Psychon. Thank you for the thank you for resubscribing for 6 months at tier 1. Ship Yo, I can't read. Chip Belter, thank you for resubscribing with Prime for 13 months. Norito Chip 97, thank you for subscribing with Prime. Thank you guys for the super chats on YouTube. All super chats will be read at the end of stream. I promise, unless I forget. If you guys want to support the show, remember Cash App and Venmo are on the screen, but don't feel you need to. You guys did a lot the other day. So I understand. We were able to raise $1,500 to help keep a family from eviction. Remember, Friday we will have a new mutual aid fund. So keep an eye out for Friday, and hopefully we can help some more people with our weekly mutual aid. I know we rated them. I know, I was aware. That's how I know what their content was. I ordered pizza. Let's see how close it is to getting here. Yo, sick having coupon for 2 free pies. Bro, that was so sick. We have one person in the call-in screen, and we will get to them in a second. 219-327-8005 if you want to debate as well. ETA, 18 minutes. What the fuck? Get here. Ugh. Ugh. Do we want to play a horror game after debates today, chat? Do we want to play another horror game? I don't have any, but I would need you guys to give me some. But does that sound like it could be fun? I'm not playing all the way through Alan Wake. I like short horror games, you know? I like how that guy was just debating is in the Twitch chat. He's an angry atheist. Nobody's angry. You just can't square away the fact that your God condemned, or your God did a lot of fucked up shit. That's on you, homie. My God don't do that. My God is an awful God. My God is an awful God. He allowed for sex slavery of motherfucking children. But because I cannot think critically, I don't condemn that. Anyway, let's bring up the next person. Next up, coming on the stream, we have Alex. Alex wants to debate about trans men and women. He thinks that it's a mental illness. Let's see how Alex can square that away. Alex, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
I'm 30. He, him.
Okay, now Alex, you think that trans men and women are not men and women, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, Alex, can you, before we begin, let me know, do you believe gender and sex to be the same thing?
Yes. The
Okay,
whole social construct you'll make up in the 60s is not real. It's just
okay,
the
gender.
colleges that made it up.
Okay, gender has been a term since the 1300s, but okay. If you believe they're the same thing, please provide me a functional definition of the terms gender and sex that are the same and that would not lead to contradictions.
You said earlier, can you explain what DSM-5 is again? Because you said something earlier. What was
the
that?
DSM-5? What about the DSM-5?
Yeah. You said something about it. What is it? What is it for?
The DSM-5 is a diagnostic and strategic manual for treating and or diagnosing disorders.
What kind of disorders?
It's mental disorders. The manual of mental disorders.
Mental disorders. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you said earlier something about having a micro penis. That's not gender dysphoria.
Yes, having a micropenis can lead to gender dysphoria. I didn't say it was gender dysphoria. I said it can lead to feelings of gender dysphoria.
No. That's not what you said earlier.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was.
That it was gender dysphoria. What is it called?
I said it can.
What is the word called?
What word?
No,
what are you talking about? I said having a micropenis can lead men to having gender dysphoria. What disorder? What are you talking about?
Okay. That's a disorder.
Alex, do me a favor.
Alex,
Alex, I need you to slow down. Okay. All right. You're having a conversation with somebody like three houses down. What are you talking? What term?
There's a specific term. There's a specific disorder with what you just said earlier with the other guy. When you have a micropenis, what is that called? You're not happy with that. It makes you upset. What is that called?
If you have a micropenis and the stress of that micropenis is brought about by your lack of feeling like a man, that would be gender dysphoria.
Okay. What? No, that's not what.
Yes,
that's body
it is.
Dysmorphic disorder.
No, that's not what body dysmorphia is.
Yes, PDD focuses on appearances, flaws, not sex or gender identity.
It's not what body dysmorphia is.
So that includes if you have a micropenis, your vagina is too big, too narrow, too tight, too loose. Yes, that's what it is.
No.
Body dysmorphic disorder is focused on the appearance flaws, and that causes you distress. That's not gender dysphoria. That's the first thing.
Body dysmorphia. Body dysmorphia.
No.
Jesus Christ.
Yes. Body, DYSMORPHIC. Look it up.
Body dysmorphia is when a person becomes this is like the specific way it's defined in the DSM-5, is when they become preoccupied with perceived flaws in their appearance that are minor or not observable to others. Not, I have a micropenis, so I hate myself.
I'm following. Well, that's part of it, because isn't that your body and people feel self-conscious about it, right?
Again, this is why I said people with micropenises can have gender dysphoria. Yes. Not that it equates to gender dysphoria, because if the reason you're unhappy with your penis, no, do you want me to pull up? Do you want me to pull up the call? Do you want me to pull up the call? Hold on, stop, shut the fuck up. Do you want me to pull up the call?
Okay,
because I can pull up the call.
Wow, you're so abusive.
I can pull up, I don't give a fuck if I'm abusive to you, you fucking piece of shit. Do you want me to pull up the call? If you're gonna put words in my mouth, dummy, if you're gonna put words in my mouth, I'll pull the call up.
Pull it up.
Okay, let me just confirm. When you're proven wrong, are you gonna say, "Oh, my bad, I was wrong"?
I will apologize. Yes, I will apologize.
So let's pull the fucking call up, and let's go to the part where I talk about gender dysphoria. It really is. Give me a second. Chat, can you all hear the previous call? If you're interested in knowing. You should, you all hear the previous call. Causes stress because your gender does not align with your sex. Now, this can happen in cisgender people. For instance, men with micropenises tend to present with gender dysphoria. Elderly women can sometimes present. Did you hear that, Chad?
Say it again.
I said they tend to present with gender dysphoria. I did not say that having a micropenis was gender dysphoria. Stupid. I said they tend to present with this. Doesn't mean that they always do, stupid. So are you going to admit you're wrong? What do you think present? What do you think present with it means? Are you going to admit you were wrong now? Yes or no?
Okay, to describe a medical patient showing symptoms.
No.
Use medical terms. We're going to use a medical term. Hold on. We're going to use a medical term.
You're such an idiot.
With medically, if to describe a medical.
Gonna mute you. Chat, this is what we call conservative psychosis. Deadass. This is what we call conservative psychosis. He is literally in the flux of psychosis. So again, I didn't say that having a micropenis meant gender dysphoria. I said these people tend to present with it because the reason they feel bad about their micropenis is because their lack of feeling like a man because of the penile expression. But Alex can't admit he's wrong because he's in the midst of a psychosis. Now, Alex, I'm going to ask you again, Can I ask you again? Can you admit you were wrong? Yes or no?
Wait, I'm asking you a question.
I don't want to hear any questions until you answer me whether you can admit you were wrong. Yes or no? I don't want to hear I don't give a fuck about your questions. Okay, goodbye.
No.
I don't need to talk to someone that can't admit when they're wrong. See ya. There's quite literally no reason for me to speak to you if you cannot admit that you're wrong. Goodbye. See ya. So long. Farewell. Auf Wiedersehen. Like I didn't have the clip. I'm not saying that micropenises are gender dysphoria. I'm saying that these people who have this condition can present with another condition. Please, god damn. You better try somebody else because you can't try with me. Close is my dinner. I'm about to start calling it what it is, dude. It's conservative psychosis. Like dead ass. I'm going to start calling it what it is. It's conservative psychosis. It's psychosis to literally hear me say the words and go, oh, see, I was right. Chat, what does the phrase tend to mean? Like, if I say somebody tends to do something, does that mean it's always and universal? Or does that mean, hey, this is something we typically see? Damn, that's crazy. Who would have guessed, chat? It is about, just to square the circle, the reason why they present with gender dysphoria would be because their sex expression does not relate to their gendered expectations, doesn't relate to the masculinity they feel, their social role, all of these things. They have this. This happens all the time. Kind of embarrassing. And now Alex keeps calling back. Like, I don't know what he expects. Here, I'll just tell him to shut the fuck up. I'm going to take him. Real quick.
Okay,
Winnie,
thank you.
Hey,
I'll be nice.
shut
I'll
up.
mute myself.
I don't
Hold
care.
on. I'll mute
I don't
myself.
care. I don't care.
I will mute myself.
I don't give a
alright?
fuck. I don't give a fuck. You couldn't admit you were wrong. We have nothing to talk about. There's no reason to talk to somebody who's proven they're intellectually dishonest. Goodbye. If you prove you can't even admit that you are wrong, goodbye. Keep calling back when you've proven to be wrong. Goodbye. I don't have a need. God damn, why is this food still 6 minutes away? Anybody got a good horror game for me? Like an hour, 2 hour horror game? Horror game. What the fuck? Women who experience hair loss can experience stress brought about. Now, here's the thing. I don't go in with the gender dysphoria has to be related to gender incongruence. I don't think that's the case. right? It literally is just about a distress from your gender identity and the phenotypic expression of your sex not aligning, right? Because what was I saying? I already forgot what I was saying. Now, I think the DSM-5, let me actually, here's how I'll square this away. The DSM-5 does label gender dysphoria in this way because they need to for diagnosing and treatment purposes. But I don't know why that's not how it, that's not just what gender dysphoria is. US bombed Syria? Haven't we been bombing Syria? What? Didn't we? How many? Haven't we been bombing Syria for years? What's the difference about this one? Like today? Okay, yeah, but I'm bad thing. Yes, I'm just asking, what is the difference between all of the other times we bombed Syria? Let me see. Yeah, we had in last year, there was a 10-day period of attacks that we took out on Syria. Last year. So that's all I'm asking. Someone said I'm a freak for knowing about penises. Well, I have one. I would hope that I'm have knowledge about my sexual organs. Do you not know about your own penis? I'd be worried if you don't know about your own penis. Do you know, should I pull up a diagram? There's a head, there's a shaft. Do you know about proper hygiene of the penis? Do you know, it worries me that you don't know about penises. Unless you don't have one, then that makes total sense. If you didn't have a penis, I'd expect you not to know a lot about it. Someone's in the call-in queue right now, so they're getting screened. Is this person in chat purposely censoring their words? That's hilarious. And my food's 3 minutes away, so. Probably doesn't. Yeah, do you wipe your ass or do you not wipe your ass because a finger goes near your butt? It's gay. I think you should know a little bit at least about all the genitals. Yeah, probably. Red pill men told me that dating women was gay. Do y'all remember that? Nick Fuentes said dating women is gay. Or was it Andrew Tate? What did he say? Straight men with girlfriends are gay. So true. So true, Tatey boy. So true, bestie. Men with girlfriends, totally gay. I don't know why. Oh, yeah. Yo, shout out to Beth Gnome for winning our first ever Discord trivia night last night. We are going to do Discord community activities every Friday evening. Either it's going to be late night or not late night. But I'm thinking tonight we bring back who would be interested if tonight in the Discord we bring back Sloppy Joe Bingo. Anybody interested in bringing back Sloppy Joe Bingo? Oh, my food's here. I'll be right back. You guys talk amongst yourself about it. Break my heart. Say you love me again. What was the consensus, chat? Did we want to bring back Sloppy Joe Bingo tonight? What was the consensus? I don't know what it is. Oh, chat. Okay. So a podcast I love created this game. And there is in Key West, Florida, there's a bar called Sloppy Joe's. And Sloppy Joe's claims to be the originator of the Sloppy Joe. But they have a camera that faces outside of their bar. So on the weekends, when people are out drinking, at night, you play Sloppy Joe Bingo, and there's a whole bingo card with things that you might see that you usually see in that area. It's great. It's a great time. If you love people watching, it's a fun game. If you want to play this game, you know what? Fuck it. I want to play. So I'll be in the Discord tonight at like 9 o'clock to play Sloppy Joe Bingo. Notes in Discord. What? Huh? What? I'm so confused. I'll take it, Winnie. I'll take it. I don't know what it. I'm confused, but I'll take it. Where's the pizza? It's just right here. Let me take a quick little bite. I had a Domino coupon for 2 free pizzas, so it's from Domino's. But I got it for free, so W me.
Hello?
Oops, I missed that. My bad, chat. Let me start over. We have Theron calling. Theron, can you hear me?
Hi.
Okay, Theron,
Hi.
Can I get your age and pronouns, please?
31, and pronouns are he, him. I was trying to think of a joke, but there's only one,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Theron, you are calling because of topic number 2. You think there is compelling evidence for Christianity. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, I explained because I know you're looking more for the literalist, evangelical, all-powerful, all-loving God, Old Testament, Revelations. My view on Christianity has been more of a Christ-centric one. The Old Testament is cool and all, and helped shape what Christianity became, but I'm more focused on Jesus Christ's teachings, Beatitudes, Golden Rule, etc., etc. I think for the modern day, especially the left, I think there's a version of Christianity out there that could be really helpful and could be a force of good in the world.
Okay, but why is that?
I think it's
Why is
not
that
like a
evidence?
very
Why is that
firm-
evidence for it being real?
Oh, sorry. Sorry, say again?
So why is that evidence for it being real?
Well, I mean, what do you mean by real?
I don't know how to
Do I
Christianity.
think Jesus existed in history? Yeah, I think he existed in history.
Christianity
I think
asserts that Jesus was the Messiah, that he was divine, and I would say that this assertion is untrue. If we're just saying Jesus was some dude with some pretty cool communist takes, cool, but I could literally follow anybody else for that. There's no reason to be a Christian to believe in those teachings.
Well, for that time and age, surely the ideas that Jesus was espousing was very unique, wouldn't you say?
Were they unique? No, Buddha. No, the Buddha was teaching those things before Christ was. I don't know that they're unique. They might be unique to that part of the world at that specific time, but I wouldn't say they're unique globally.
Yeah. Okay, so your argument is that you take umbrage with the idea that he is divinely powered, the Messiah.
Yeah, I take issue with Jesus being divine. Yes, I think there's no evidence of Jesus being divine, and there's especially no evidence of him being the Messiah because he doesn't fulfill messianic prophecies.
What's your definition of divine?
Being of heavenly in nature, from heaven, from God, having a nature from God, divine.
I mean, Christian belief is that I believe that all of our nature comes from God, which there is a long history of Christians believing that there's a bit of divinity in all of us.
But we aren't
Christ
divine. But we're not divine in the way Christ is divine. Christ is divine because of his direct connection to the Lord.
Well, no, Christianity believes that everyone has direct connection to God.
Not in the way Christ does.
More. Yeah, he just has more.
Do you believe Christ
numbers?
Hold on, let me just ask you. Do you believe Christ was the Messiah?
Yeah. The Messiah as in the
Son of God.
Yes. Yeah. Messiah is the belief that they are a divinely inspired individual who is meant to liberate the followers, the people, and bring them to a some sort of freedom. And that's my view of what it means to be Messiah. I think that Christ, based on the words he said, and my hope that he comes back, I believe, he's the Messiah.
What messianic prophecies has he fulfilled in order to be labeled the Messiah?
Huh?
What messianic prophecies did he fulfill in order to be the Messiah?
Well, he would be the Messiah when he comes back, right?
So he's not yet the Messiah.
Well, the hope is based on the ideas that he laid out, the philosophy of Christianity that he espoused, that he taught, that a lot of people believe that is still developing. I hope can develop more past certain traps.
Theron, what is your evidence
groundwork.
that Jesus will return?
That's just faith, right? That's the faith component. I hope he does. I have faith that he does, but
you have no compelling evidence for it.
no. But I can say that faith is born from just the way Christianity has expanded.
Sure, but the point specifically, the point on the board is that there is no compelling evidence for it, which you've said you don't have any. It's just your faith.
Let me think. Do you mind if I take a moment to think?
Sure.
Okay. Compelling evidence of Christianity. And for Christianity to be real, I have to prove that Christ is divine.
You'd have to prove specifically that he's the Messiah.
That he's
right
the Messiah.
Now that would prove he's divine, right? Just by being the Messiah. But yeah, and in order for him to be the Messiah in Christianity, he'd have to fulfill the messianic prophecies that were laid out in the Old Testament.
I don't know if that's accurate.
In order to be the Messiah, yeah.
To fulfill. Well, I mean, if there's a denomination of Christianity that doesn't believe in the messianic prophecies,
then why would you believe Jesus to be the Son of God at all? The only reason he was believed to be that in the New Testament is because he fulfilled what their claim was. He fulfilled some of the messianic prophecies, such as virgin birth of the lineage of Abraham.
Right. I believe he's the Messiah because he said he was the Son of God.
Yeah, and what's our evidence that he's the Son of God? What's the proof in that? How do we know that to be the case? He could have just been lying.
Well, the way I view it, so I'm not going to go from debate. I'm just going to talk about how my personal beliefs. I believe him because I look at some of the other things he said, some of the things that, he's done. And I look at them on their own, very ideas that I agree with. I think are very smart.
What things that he did do you agree with specifically?
The ideas are things healing the sick. If he did that, I think that's proof. But, no proof of that, right? No solid evidence.
Yeah, there's no proof. There's no proof. So as far as I know, he didn't heal the sick.
His preachings on inclusivity. The ways.
Why would that make him the? Because the whole thing is that the claim is that Jesus's teachings kind of rewrite the Old Testament. But it seems like the reason you think they rewrote the Old Testament is just because he was saying stuff you like. He contradicts his whole everybody is accepted is completely contradictory to the Old Testament, which is no, only Israelites are accepted. Everybody else is kind of an affront to God.
Right. So, for me, the Old Testament, and especially how they viewed God, I don't really take their word for it. They didn't really have much in the Old Testament time. Their view of God, who I believe there is a God. That's all faith. There's no evidence of that. But their view of who God was would be shaped on the fact that they were barely past Neanderthals, right? In the Old Testament, in the desert where everyone hated them and were killing each other. There's not
What do you mean
much
barely? What do you mean barely past
credibility.
Neanderthals?
Old Testament, I'm talking about.
So am I. The Old Testament, like Egypt, is in ancient Egypt's in the Old Testament. They're way past Neanderthal.
Oh, yeah, Egypt was. The ancient Jerusalem tribes were warring tribes, weren't they, in the desert region?
Yeah, but like, how long ago do you think Neanderthals lived?
Admittedly, bad comparison.
Okay.
You got me on that one. Bad comparison. But I'm saying they weren't very knowledgeable about sciences and development and understanding what was happening,
Well, the Egyptians were the Egyptians were. But wait, the Jerusalem,
the
like people
Egyptians
like
didn't write the Old Testament.
No. But I'm saying like just because these people weren't doesn't mean other people at the time like didn't have that knowledge.
No. Oh, sorry, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about the people who wrote the Old Testament.
Uh-huh.
In fact, as far as I remember, there's no evidence that the Jews were ever in Egypt. Right?
That is correct.
Who wrote the Old Testament. They were enslaved there.
Let me actually correct myself. There's no evidence they were in
said,
Egypt
"Hey,
at the
we
time
were
of the
enslaved over
Exodus.
there."
Really quickly, I just want to correct myself.
Huh?
There was no evidence they were in Egypt at the time of the Exodus. There is evidence that they have been in Egypt.
All right. So that's a plus towards them then.
But it just seems
anyway,
weird. Like,
I'm
why do
saying
you
the Old
believe in the
Testament-
New Testament, not the Old Testament? Like, why believe in one and not the other?
Because I can understand it being reasonable and true that Christ coming to this world, God, I'm all knowing is, I think people take it a bit too far. As far as the Bible goes, as far as the New Testament goes, everything about God being all knowing is about him knowing your personality and knowing your thoughts, past. And I think him knowing what you're going to be is just from him being far beyond human intellect and just putting things together, right? If you know someone's past, you know their personality, you know down to every hair follicle, you can probably predict their actions, right? But I don't think anywhere in the Bible really talks about him knowing the future as in, the ways that, you flip a coin, God's going to know heads, right?
I just don't think any of that.
Biblical sources that.
Well, I just don't think any of that
unless you have some biblical.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sources. Sorry, I'm going to say because unless you have some biblical sources that talk about him knowing the future, being omniscient, as being what we consider omniscient, like actually all-knowing, I've always viewed it as the way I describe it, as him knowing us.
Yeah, so my whole thing is I'm just trying to square away. I've been saying that a lot lately. You keep telling me that like the Old Testament isn't really something you believe in, but you believe in the New Testament because you believe in what Jesus says in the New Testament. Is that the only reason?
I think it's very reasonable to take his word on him being the Son of God. If you look at what everything else he said and everything else he's done and viewed it as a credit towards good character. Think of it like a tort lawsuit, right? Not criminal beyond a reasonable doubt, but tort. I think there is more than a reasonable view of Christ as a reasonable person, and then
so here's what we have to look at. Christ in the New Testament says that he came to fulfill the laws of the prophets, which would be the messianic prophecies. So how can we believe Christ is the Messiah if he's not? Yeah, fulfill the laws of the prophet, or abolish what the prophets say. So in order to fulfill what the prophets say, that would be fulfilling messianic prophecy. But he doesn't.
Yeah, in fact, I'm pretty sure. Now, it's all up to translation, like your last guest who inspired me to call you said. Not the one who wouldn't apologize, the one before that. But if we're going by the translation and the way I believe it, Christ said he's there to fulfill the prophecy of the Messiah. And I think that Christ is someone who was intelligent enough to...
He says in Luke 4:17, today this scripture has been fulfilled in your hearing.
Yeah, fulfilled. I think...
It was completed.
There is... Huh?
That means completed.
Yeah. So if someone had a prophecy that... The way I view it, now maybe my understanding and, view... Yeah, tell me what you think, actually. So if someone said, I have a prophecy, tomorrow I'm going to receive pizza. And it's going to be from the Messiah. Or let's get a different name. I'm from Mark. And I get a pizza from Alex. From my view, I think that prophecy was fulfilled. But
it's not fulfilled until it happens.
Right, and it's going to happen at the end of the
So
world.
what evidence do you have that Jesus will fulfill the Well, no, it can't happen at some of the prophecies have to happen before the world ends. Like they just have
What
to.
prophecies?
Well, there's the prophecies that the temple is going to be rebuilt, prophecies that all nations will stop fighting, prophecies that all people of Israel from all four corners of the earth are going to be brought back. Like these things kind of have to be done before the world ends. You can't have world peace if there's no world.
Right. Okay, so as far as those prophecies go, if everyone follows the teachings of Christ, set out in his preachings, in his actions, by everything that is written about him, before Revelation. I have a different view of Revelations if you want to talk about that. I think everything that you just described would happen.
But it hasn't. And we have no, you think when do you think world peace is going to happen?
Huh?
When do you think we're going to hit world peace?
I think it's something that has to be worked towards, right?
Yeah, when?
When we do it. When humanity comes together and figures it out.
But Jesus isn't going to do it. Because that's the whole thing. Jesus is the one that has to do it.
He's going to come back when we get there, right?
No, the prophecy is that he does it.
Right.
Here, I'll pull up the exact text of the peace prophecy. It's Isaiah 2:4. They shall beat their sword into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they lean war anymore. It's specifically that
does it say the Messiah will do it? Can you?
Because it happens under the Messiah's reign. It's supposed to happen under the Messiah's reign.
What's the verse?
It's Isaiah 2.
Isaiah 2. King James or a different one?
Whatever you want.
The word that Isaiah, the son of Amoz, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem.
The mountain of the Lord's temple will be
Yeah,
this is what Isaiah concerning Judah and Jerusalem. In the last days, the mountain of the Lord's temple will be established as the highest of the mountains. It will be exalted above the hills, and all nations will stream to it. Many people will come and say, come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the temple of the God of Jacob. He will teach us his ways so that we may walk in his path. The law will go out from Zion, the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. He will judge between the nations and will settle again, here it is. He will judge between the nations and will settle disputes for many people.
So wait, the Lord as in God.
The Lord is in the son of
Where
Judah.
does it say it's the Messiah?
This is what Isaiah, son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. This
Can
is one
you
of the.
point to any part of it that says that it's about Jesus or the Messiah?
Well, this is all about the Messiah.
Is it?
It's about the coming of Jerusalem.
Is maybe in
Wait, do you just not think this is a messianic prophecy?
it doesn't. Sorry, you just have to point out where it says, or there's any implication that it is, right? Like, surely at some point in this verse, there's something that says, "Oh, it's because the Messiah will do this." Or
Yeah.
the Son of
Isaiah
God will do
1.
this, or
Isaiah
anything
1
like
is where
that.
they talk about the vision that Judah is having. The vision concerning Judah and Jerusalem that Isaiah, son of Amos, saw during the reigns of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Isaiah, kings of Judah. Hear me, you heavens, listen, earth, for the Lord has spoken. I reared children and brought them up. But, like, he's specifically talking. I mean, if you don't think it's a messianic prophecy, okay, then we could throw that one out. So every time anybody quotes any of these
Yeah,
prophecies,
sorry. I guess
we'll toss them.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm not a big Old Testament guy, as I said. I think it's a bunch of people in the desert doing their best. But like it doesn't like you have to tell me where it says it's the messianic prophecy, right? You have to explain that to me.
Because Jesus
You're saying
specifically
it
says
is.
he's going to fulfill what the prophet said, and Isaiah's son is considered a prophet.
Okay, can you tell me where Jesus said he's going to fulfill this?
Yeah, Jesus says he's going to fulfill prophecies in Matthew 5:17. Do not think I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. Isaiah's son is a prophet.
Okay. So he's going to fulfill this. And
That's
he's going
the
to
claim.
fulfill what? And okay, so Jesus said he's going to fulfill it, right?
That's the
We both
claim,
agree on
yeah.
that.
That's the claim.
Okay. And so what Jesus is going to fulfill is that God is going to stop all wars on the world and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So yes, he's going to fulfill that by,
That's the claim.
as I said, he laid the groundwork. He gave us the philosophy. He
didn't give us, we had that philosophy
worldview.
before Jesus. We had that worldview before Jesus. Again,
We
Buddha
did,
expressed the exact
but-
same worldview.
We did, but Christianity is it Islam that's now the most popular, or is it still Christianity?
I don't
fluctuating.
remember. I think it's Islam, but I don't remember.
Either way, from the teachings of Christ, because they both came from that, right? They are the most popular religions, right? They have the most power to work from. Buddha, were he the Messiah, from my belief, it would have to have some effect on the world to this day. And it does. It does. You know, don't take anything away from Buddha, but when it comes to ending world peace, from the world we live in today, the Christianity just has the most effect, just from, America being.
So
the
let me just
global
really quickly, just so I can understand. You're saying
Yes.
Christ is the Messiah because he will in the future complete these prophecies, but you have no evidence that he will in the future complete those prophecies. You just believe off of faith.
He's setting up the layup.
So you don't have any compelling evidence for it. You just believe what he said. You don't have any compelling evidence for it. You just have faith.
My compelling evidence is, I guess, character analysis is enough for courts and tort, right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
In tort. Sorry, U.S. doesn't use tort. What's your term? Civil?
I don't know, but like somebody having good character does not mean I'm going to believe that they're now the son of God.
Okay. Why? Okay, so what?
Why not? Because extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence.
Sure.
Like, I'm not going to believe
And for
ghosts
you,
exist just because somebody tells me ghosts exist. I need proof of
And
ghosts.
just to bring it back to the beginning, you're saying that Christianity, compelling evidence for Christianity, can only be true if I can prove that Christ is the Messiah, as in it's here to.
That's the
you know,
entire claim of Christianity. So
fulfill-
yes, in order to prove
I
Christianity,
don't.
you have to prove that Christ, at the very least, you have to prove he was resurrected,
I
because that's key to
don't think that's the
being the
entire
Messiah.
claim of Christianity.
Yes, it is.
I don't.
That's the entire claim.
What makes you
Is
say
to
that's the
bel-
entire claim?
Because the whole point of Christianity is to believe in the divinity of Christ. If you don't believe Christ was divine, you wouldn't be Christian. You would be one of the other sects that don't believe in his divinity, like Judaism, who does not believe Christ was the Messiah.
Okay, divine. Now, can he be divine without being the Messiah, the messianic prophet?
He could be a prophet,
Yeah,
in which case you would then believe in like what Islam believes, that he was just one of many prophets, but was not
what you
son
just
of
said,
God.
though. You said you have to believe that he's divine. Okay, so to prove that Christianity is real,
No, I said to be
prove that he's
Christian, you have
more
to
than
be able to
divine.
prove he's the Messiah,
Why?
because that's what it would
Who
mean.
said, like,
Christianity says this.
I don't think it
Christianity
does.
says
In fact,
this.
You haven't even been able to point to it saying that with your
Huh?
evidence.
Huh?
You
John literally
haven't.
says
He's here to
Christ.
fulfill
John
the
quite
prophecy.
literally says. John quite literally says.
And
Where
the
is it?
prophecy is God
Where is it?
doing
Where is it?
something
Where is
in the
it? Where is it?
future?
Where is it? Where is it?
Sorry, I
Hold
didn't
on.
mean to speak over you.
Hold on.
My
Hold on.
bad.
Where is it? Because
Let's pull it
John
back a bit.
John literally says Christ is the Messiah. He says, like, here's the Messiah. And Christians believe in Christ, and they believe in his Messiah claims.
What's the verse?
Where is
Let's
it?
pull it up. Let's hear it. This is your evidence,
Hold
by
on,
the
I'm
way.
pulling it. I'm pulling up the verse now. Give me a second.
Because I can tell you why I think Christianity is real, but obviously this debate is about your view of what's real, right?
Here it is. John 1:41. We have found the Messiah.
All right. Now, what's the Messiah? John 1.
The anointed one.
41.
The Son of God. The anointed one. Messiah literally translates to anointed one.
John 1:41? Sorry, are you
John
pulling up
1.
the screen? Can I just
John
check?
1. No, I don't have it up on screen. John 1:41. We have found the Messiah. John 4:25-26. The woman said, I know that Messiah is coming. Jesus said to her, I who speak to you am he. Jesus even calls himself the Messiah. Simon Peter.
So he's the Messiah.
Matthew 16:16.
Now, what's the
Simon
Messiah?
Peter said, you are the Christ, the Son of the living God. Messiah
Now
means
we're back
Messiah
to
means the
original
Son.
one that you.
Messiah means he's the Son of God.
Okay.
They affirm this in the Bible over and over again.
Yes, you've got it. You got it. Now we're back to where we were, where you pointed to Isaiah 2 as what the Messiah is, and
Because-
it didn't say what the Messiah was.
Okay, I'm just going to let you know, you are the only Christian on the planet who doesn't believe that the prophecies of Isaiah are not directly tied to the Messiah. You're the only one.
I'm not the only Christian that doesn't know what the Messiah is.
I didn't say you don't know. I didn't say you
don't.
don't know what the Messiah is. I said it doesn't believe that the prophecies of the Old Testament are directly messianic prophecies.
I disagree. There are many sects that.
Who? What sect?
All right. Hold on, I've got a list. While I find this list, can you find me anything in the Bible that talks about what the Messiah is? Who
I
he
just
is, or what he does?
read you a bunch. He's the Son of God, the anointed one. The Christ of God. You are the Christ, the
All
Son of
that
the living
is in
God.
New Testament. Just as a reminder, every one you brought up was from the New Testament of
Jesus
people
didn't
saying
Jesus
is
didn't
the
exist
Messiah.
yet in the Old Testament, so I know that. Yeah.
Wait, sorry, I missed that. Which Old Testament did you bring up on what the Messiah was? I completely
What?
missed that. That's my bad.
I didn't bring up any Old Testament about what the Messiah is.
Okay, I feel like we're having a language. It's on me, probably. Hold on. Let's see. There is the Ebionites. There is the New Western Pescatarians. Not Pescatarians. Pescatarians. Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay.
2.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. Arianite, modalistic. Well, those ones I don't really claim them. Monarchists. Those are the wild people who basically believe God just went, hey, you're king?
I mean, it just,
That's
again,
my
we're
voice.
just still running with, I believe Christ is the Messiah. I don't have any reason to believe Christ. This is you.
Non-Trinitarianness.
Hold on. I just want to.
Basically, where you, because I'm trying to figure out your version of these definitions, right? So you're saying to be Christian, you have to believe that Christ is the Messiah. So if I point out Christian sects that don't really believe in the messianic prophecies,
I wouldn't see the reason
what that is.
Okay, I wouldn't see the reason why they believe.
Not consider.
Theron. I don't know what they would believe if they don't believe Christ is Messiah. I don't know what they would believe. Like, what do they believe? That he was just some dude that died? Okay, cool.
That's
what does that?
Gonna come back.
Why do they believe he's gonna come? Why do they believe he's going to return?
Because he said he would.
What does that matter? Just because he says he will? So did William Afton. But here we are going into the next FNAF game and no fucking Return of Purple Guy.
Wait.
Thanks for.
So,
I got to move on now. I got to move on now.
I'm going to return.
Theron, I got to move on now. Such a weird. He's going to come back because he said it. I don't know what to do with that. Shout out to Ayla Ursus for paying to move on from whatever the fuck that was. I don't know what to do with Jesus said he'd return, so he's going to return. Like, there's nothing I can do with that. How long have we been going today, guys? 2.5 hours. I might call it for the day, TBH. Well, we'll see if we get any other calls or anything. Anyway. There's somebody being screened. We'll see what that call is, and if it's a... Hold on, I'll be right back. That was weird. We got no callers. I wasn't given any good horror games. Oh, yes, I was. Yes, I was. I wanted to play this game. Never mind. We're going to play horror games over on Twitch. So if you want to continue, come for that. And then at 9 p.m. we will, I mean, I'll probably be in the Discord earlier than that, but 9 p.m. we'll be in the Discord and we will, and in the show. We'll be in the Discord and we will, play bingo, Sloppy Joe bingo. But for now, I'm gonna head out to Twitch. We're gonna play a horror game that I found. Totally forgot that I had seen this one that I wanted to try out. So yeah, come to Twitch. Sorry to Andrew Wilson. I know you were in the calling queue, but we'll get to you again maybe tomorrow. Call in tomorrow, Andrew Wilson, and maybe we can get to you then. Thank you to all the super chatters: Terry Fall, Liquid, Ayla Ursus, Balthazar, Valeria. Thank you guys for the super chats, and YouTube. I will see you tomorrow at some point. Bye.